Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Welcome to another episode. Today is Friday, the 4th of February. And this is my co-host, Hadassah Charles McLeod. Good morning, Hadassah. How are you?
I'm fine. Good morning, Limbs. Good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I was catching my tail to figure out what was written on your t-shirt, and then I just make it out. It says political horn child.
Yes.
Where you get a jersey from? I want one.
When I was doing merchandise for Pep, I did it. Yeah, that's what a Dougla is basically. Because if they say in UNC it's for Indian and PNM is for Afros, then Pep is the political one child.
Clearly.
Pep
Good
is the
morning,
Dougla.
guys. Thanks for joining us for this hour. It is Friday. Happy Friday. We hope you had a good week, a productive week. All things considered. Share the live as you come in.
Yeah. So, guys, as you all know, plenty to talk about. As usual, it's like we never ever have nothing to talk about. Is
When
just
it
that.
was I text you, was it Wednesday or yesterday? I was like, we always have stuff to talk about.
Yeah, there's
Anyways,
always bad news to it. It's never like,
yeah.
unless you're like Carnival budget cut, all of a sudden, because everybody's saying they could spend the money on something else, which is
Well,
true.
that is very good. That is very good. I think the an indication that they actually engage in public listening, social listening, is if they were to say, okay, no carnival altogether. But I suspect that things have been in motion for a while, so they cannot just cut it at this point. Because if you remember, all these stakeholders, mass band owners and different people, they literally throw a tantrum and it's like, so what the government going to do about carnival? We want carnival. And the government just give in to them. And I'm like, so how come the government doesn't give in to us when we demand water and when we demand protection for our women?
No, no. But I'm not sure if that is a good give in though, because
No, it was
magically,
not good. It was not good. Yeah.
COVID cases starting to go down now. You see, Miss on the board of directors of the alcohol place come out and
Yeah.
say COVID cases decreasing. Really, I wonder if alcoholism decreasing too, because she's just convenient. All of a sudden, just before Carnival, and then what? They're gonna spike right after Carnival. But then the Carnival wasn't our idea. That's your idea.
Yeah, I would I mean they're doing everything, they're saying everything to defend continuing with this carnival. They're saying that, there's so much money to be made. Carnival is a big revenue earner and things like that from the people coming in.
Who?
And I want to know,
Who do you have coming here?
I don't think anybody is coming to Trinidad in droves this year in particular for Carnival to say that they can justify that.
But if anybody who has been paying attention to how our cases go in our news, our murder rate, our crime rate, they would say, nah, let's skip Trinidad today. And then they've all in a huge revenue earner. A huge revenue earner for who? Because the vendors on the street always complaining sales slow. So it's not them making the money. Who making this money that they keep talking about,
Yeah. And you don't ever get the feeling that the carnival before or the carnival the last year generated enough revenue so that they can put aside to have a carnival this year. You always feel as though the government has to budget for it magically somehow. So like if it is really this big revenue earner, then it should be self-sustaining at this point,
Mm-hmm.
and they're trying so hard to say, well, it's not so bad. We cut the carnival budget, and the Ministry of Finance is going to be paying for it, as well as sponsors. And I was like, and financiers. I was like, who are these financiers? And they're not putting in any money to not get anything out.
Obviously. So, and the thing about it is that those same financiers couldn't help with the education system because it still have loads of children that don't have devices and some don't have internet.
Mm-hmm.
Some not ready to go back out to physical school because they don't have the money to buy the stuff to go back to physical school. Or they wouldn't even say, well, all right, let's, change up the system a bit for education. And instead of parents buying books, we could get it on soft copy. And parents donate paper and ink, or the same financiers could donate ink and paper. So on the day of whatever they teach it, they just print out these specific pages that they're using and they give the children.
Yeah. Again, we always talk about the fact that there are a million and one solutions to all the problems that are plaguing us. What is missing is the political will to do it, and that wanting to look at where we are now, what works in the education system, what doesn't work, and what do we have to do to get to where we want to go. And that is it. It
That's the
is
direction where we want to go. And clearly,
exactly, if you are, and if you're
we want to go into the slave trade.
exactly, and if you're governing by VAPs and no planning is taking place, then you cannot expect that anything you do would yield anything beneficial to the people who it is supposed to affect and supposed to benefit.
Yeah.
I mean, I looking at Gypsy hell-bent on defending this carnival, and I wrote on Facebook, I said, I assure you, if Gypsy was still with the UNC, he would be condemning
Yeah.
this very thing he is defending. That is how fickle these people are, easily sold to the highest bidder. In this
Yes.
country, wrong is only wrong when the other party doing it. And that is the problem. We
Yes.
continue to have people in office with no moral compass or no integrity, no honor, and they basically are for sale.
Yeah,
So
because
you
and he's
foist a carnival on us that we don't want, that we don't need, and the money, everybody, UNC, PNM, and everybody in between agrees that the money at this juncture could be used elsewhere.
yes, because TSTT sending home 450 workers. You want to cut CPEP. There are already many people unemployed from before. You're still not giving out grants. Donald Cox want to ball everybody greedy. But she not greedy for collecting her salary and sitting on her ass. Okay? That money could go towards education, social development, health, because we need more beds. We need
Yeah.
more care in our health sector. Right? We don't need more babies' head being sliced open in Sandy Grande.
Yep.
We need more attention in the rural areas.
Yeah.
Right?
I
We
mean,
need
if they
more
had said we're going to take that 30 million to establish a medical review board, which would be responsible for all the health authorities. So anytime they have an issue, we have a panel of experts, doctors in different fields or whatnot, who review cases to determine whether or not the doctor was at fault, or whether or not the patient died or the patient was injured or whatever, and it could not be helped. If they had said they were doing that, that would be a step in the right direction. Say that would
I
be good
still
use
wouldn't
of
have faith
money.
in that. I still wouldn't
Is
have
that?
faith in that. I still wouldn't have faith in that because you'll choose local doctors. And I heard a while ago that our doctors, just like TTPS, to stand up for other doctors. So if a doctor did shit and you go and you do an autopsy, they would cover for the doctor.
Yeah. It's very unfortunate. But again, we will always suggest, and for me, I would always feel like in a first instance, that you invite foreign personnel to come and hold these roles, set it up, and mentor other doctors and whatnot until it is up and running. But it kind of feels really difficult to make any inroads in Trinidad when everybody seems so morally bankrupt.
And it starts from the top
And
down.
it starts
Because
from the top.
Terrence is a complete catastrophe as a human being and minister.
I wonder what he's like as a father. I wonder what he's like as a husband.
Probably the best thing since sliced bread, but we see any kind of sliced bread we have, it ain't all that good. So
Yeah. Because I try to remember, I try to remember that essentially we are all the same. I mean, I've traveled quite a lot, and it is the one thing that strikes me wherever I go. It's like everybody, all of us we're the same, everybody just want to have a good life. You want to have a comfortable home. You want to be able to send your children to university so that they could pursue their goals. You want to be safe, you want to travel, you want to have some money for retirement. Everywhere I've gone, people have the same goals. They care about their families and their loved ones, and that is it. They just want the ability to pursue their goals and whatnot. So I try to remember that we're not that different. And
no,
then we have politicians, and I'm like, but you all were born on Mars.
they are parasites. I'm sure if you were to do autopsies on them, you would see tentacles somewhere and an extra mouth and something else behind there because
I
they have
totally
no
agree.
moral compass.
I totally
And it's shattered in pieces and the arrow just all over the place.
Exactly. Because you cannot tell me Fitzgerald Hines, his body is not being inhabited by some alien, because one individual cannot be that stupid. Seriously, and inept and incompetent. It is too much for one person. I mean, like when
And
we
the thing
pull
is
back the
that
skin,
that is
it
the
would be
man's that is the only thing he's consistent with, his stupidity. He's
Yep.
consistently stupid.
Yes.
I just don't get it. And it's embarrassing for they give you this position. You can't do anything with it. You can't say anything without short over your shoulder telling you, yes, you could say that. No, you can't say that. Just nod. Just nod.
Yeah.
You have a
Exactly.
Chinese mouthpiece over you. This man who like to brave about being a black man, and I have this position and whatever, and you're useless. You are just a
Yeah.
placemat.
He's a program drone. When he goes home, they have to plug him in for him to recharge
Yeah,
for the next day, and his software is 50 years old and malfunctioning. Because I would want to know, everybody knows about this video that is circulated on social media with the Defense Force member beating up the boyfriend of his ex-girlfriend. And I want to know what Fitzgerald Hines has to say about that this morning. More importantly, I want to know what new direction are they going to be taking to ensure that these things do not continue to happen.
I want to know what defense force doing. I mean, apart from killing all your own, all you coming to kill civilians too. Really? I didn't know that was part of the motto for defense force. He was supposed to be from the time that video leak. His cell phone was supposed to be ringing off the hook by whoever is his senior.
Mm-hmm.
Then they're supposed to court martial his ass and bring him in and ask him what the hell he doing, and he's supposed to be disciplined,
Yeah,
right?
exactly.
And that young fella
Exactly.
is supposed to be compensated for whatever injuries or whatever the case is. And the thing is, you went in your uniform, so you went with intent to try and intimidate this guy. Oh, you're a soldier. Homeboy, you're a Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force. You never actually went to war. You never actually, it's not to say like, yeah, you're in the States and you're a Marine and we know you actually went to Afghanistan and you had several tours and you actually do something really
You
wonderful.
actually do something, yeah, besides running around in the bush.
You know?
Um, how I feel about it is, I feel like the issue is bigger than Trinidad and Tobago Defense Force or TTPS or whichever one of the anagrams. Um, I feel, yes, that TTDF should do more in terms of disciplining and punishing their members for misbehavior and misrepresentation in public. And there needs to be more diligence in the selection of new members beyond physical capabilities, but also extensive psych evaluation. But it seems to me as though there is something wrong with our men. They are lacking somewhere, somehow. It is because you cannot take, if you are taking from a pool of people who are morally bankrupt, who are base and they only care about sex and drinking and carnival and whatnot, if that is your mentality, and then you take these same individuals and you put them in a uniform, what you're going to find more often than not is that they are going to abuse the uniform. My mothers always say power without character is satanic. So you give people who have not proven that they can deal with even the tiniest bit of authority, and then they go and of course they will abuse their will on innocent bystanders and innocent citizens.
And the thing is, his behavior is exactly the type that has killed women and, well, maybe not bury them, but kill them, because that's the only thing he didn't do was to put his hand on the woman.
Yeah,
Sex with the man? What kind of jackass thinking is that? You with somebody else. The woman has moved on as well. So both of you moved on. Yet
he has
still,
children
you
with this girl though.
upset that she moved on, and that I'm sure is what the problem is. You vex that she moved on. So this man touching her up and doing all the things you probably couldn't do, didn't know how to do, or doing it better. That's an ego trip he on there.
Exactly.
And his new girlfriend
Exactly.
should break up with his ass because she would now realize that this man's still in love with you.
Yeah, exactly. So we were asking the question before we went live, what is the difference between TTDF and criminals? Because the only thing that is different is the fact that you wear a uniform, but you have the same type of um the same type of behavior that criminals would display. And that is the issue, because I wrote here when I was preparing for the show, I say this is not about TTDF, this is about a culture, broken men with bruised egos and misplaced anger, and when given power and authority, it makes for an explosive combination. That's what we have. That is what we have. So it has to go beyond. And then you have to ask, where does depravity in our society comes from? It is years and years and years of people believing that they are worthless, that all you need in life is a government job. You make it in life if you have a government job, and that if you have a penis and you can have sex with a woman, that makes you important. And if you lose the ability to do that, your whole self-esteem crumbles, and then you are just a walking ticking time bomb. Limbs, you're on mute and I hearing you, love.
Yeah, sorry. We've heard of instances where there's that type of abuse in the military itself too, among
Yes.
the women, the men trying to impose themselves on the women. You hear it across the board from Defense Force. I've heard it for TTPS. Um, I'm not sure if I've heard it from fire service. The thing is, you hardly hear anything about fire service in general pertaining to any kind of abuse of power or any kind of thing.
It is true.
It's like, fire service is the good boy of the services.
Yeah.
Good guys finish last kind of thing. I mean, I am sure
Yeah.
they have their own their own thing going on, but it's just not out in the public like how defense force and police is.
Yes.
Like how they know for sure, right? Policemen live above their means, not all, but some, because they want to have 99 women all over the place. Clearly, defense force is the same thing. You're vexed because your ex move
Yeah.
on. What she was supposed to be doing, calling you every minute and crying, come back, come back.
Yeah. Yeah. So clearly, there is a problem there. And again, they have to look at how they are selecting their members. And
But it
um,
doesn't take much to get in the defense force. You just have to be physically fit.
but
And I
that's what
think
I'm
it's fear
saying.
subjects.
That's what
So
I'm saying. So if
all
you
of those
don't do a psych
people,
evaluation, you would not be able to determine if these people have certain proclivities towards violence or how they think about certain things. And then you don't know if they would really make an upstanding member of the force.
but then this is what if that is all? What imagine you taking a group of people, a whole batch, and when you do
Hmm.
the psych evaluation, everybody fail
Yeah,
because
that is
some
scary. Yeah,
mental. It
it's
is,
a
but
scary
then
thought.
they will run out of people to take in because not everybody wants to join defense force.
No, but if
Uniform looks
they,
good and the idea of defense force, yeah, it's nice, but nobody, a lot of people don't like this that kind of service man shouting in, yes, give me 50 push-ups. You do
but
something
even
wrong,
so, if
you
they
tackle
if
the
they
wrong
start to
female, they vex with
if
you.
they start to screen people even more severely, and they say, okay, instead of 100 people we taking in 20 people, and it literally means we taking in the 20, the best of the best. One, well, two things are going to happen. We are going to have a different caliber of members being passed out, and two, when people apply to be in defense force, is because they really, really want it, right? To me, that seems really easy. Make it a little more difficult to get in.
And I guess it would be the same for Coast Guard.
For
Coast Guard
all
and
of them,
have their
exactly.
own drama.
Yeah, what? I just be
These
like,
people,
okay, so
they want
really,
this
what is
sexually
the?
charged or something because there's always some sex related thing. Something wrong with them, boy.
But that's what I said. We are a culture that puts a lot of emphasis on sex. We cannot sell alcohol without it. We can't seem to go 1 year without a carnival and a mass and a wine and a jam and a whatnot. And then we surprised when all these behaviors rear their heads in members of the TTPS and Coast Guard. What it shouldn't be a shock. We're supposed to be like, oh yeah, that should be expected.
Yeah, because carnival time, all they have to do is wear their uniform and stand up, and women will run to them, especially if they look good in their uniform.
Oh Lord. Oh Lord. We need to be more careful in our selection of everybody, of our attorney general, of our prime minister, of whatnot. Is a kind of a anything goes, you know, I don't know. We can't continue like this. We can't continue like it because I know I'm laughing at, but it is not funny. It is not funny that these things happen too often, Lemma. They happen too often. And while we have this happening, right, on the flip side, we have another woman gunned down in her car, shot to death in San Fernando,
Yeah.
right? That's what we have. So you're seeing all the flaws of the people who are supposed to be protecting us and whatnot. And then we have a spiking murder rate. It's gone off the charts right now. And there has to be a correlation because you cannot be that dysfunctional, right, in your personal life, in your professional life, and really expect that it's going to make a dent in the crime rate in Trinidad and Tobago. We have to do better.
Yeah, but who we going to get better from? Fitzy? Who who what living his best life in Hillsborough and couldn't be bothered about anything. And I mean, do we have to call Stuart and ask him?
No, well, like Philip put out yesterday, clearly the PNM believes that the Philip Edward Alexander would make a better national security minister, a better what do you call it?
A better everything because Prime
A better
Minister
everything.
because
Because they are calling on him and the candlelight movement they're asking, so where is the candlelight vigil for Katisha Kujo? And you're asking the question, so you really believe a candle would do everything? And it's all this misdirected angst when you're supposed to be asking and calling upon your Minister of National Security for Gerald Hines. You're supposed to be calling on the Prime Minister, and you're supposed to be calling on Mr. Two Surnames, McDonald Jacobs, right? For answers, because these people have been elected and installed to do that, and they're being paid, more importantly, to do that.
Yeah, but I don't understand what kind of a jackass going to ask, well, where's the vigil for this person? So okay, candlelight movement didn't do it. Why the F you didn't get off your ass and do it then? And this is why I did the video, because in 2018, Pep did a march
I
against
remember. Yeah.
violence to women and children. And nobody really showed up. It's only the Pep supporters and one or two people who showed up. Where the hell was everybody else? Now that it escalates as we said it would have if we didn't deal with it then.
Yeah.
Now you want to come and say, light a fucking candle?
Yeah. Yeah. Knowing that too, the news is saying that McDonald Jacobs is saying that the TTPS, they are now looking at securing Heights of a repo. And we're like, so it took you a whole year. A whole year has passed. And this is where you're at. You're now looking at doing that. So we had to have so many other more women who almost got raped and kidnapped, or who were actually murdered, for you to say. And I'm like, how hard it is to do that, how hard it is to decide, okay, what are the parameters of this forest, how many police officers are we going to need, set up a roster, what else do we need, cameras, lights?
Yeah, but
why does that take so long to do?
What is he planning to do though? Because him saying that and doing it and doing something that will actually work is three different things. Because you need TNTech to come and put up poles there. How long TNTech going to take to flip and do that? And in the interim, are you going to put up floodlights, motion lights? What?
Yeah.
Right? Then on top of that, the area doesn't have very good signal. So are you not going to ask B-Mobile or Digicel to, I don't know, put a tower somewhere in the middle there?
Yeah.
So you could get signal in the middle there?
Yeah. And all of this, if you were having conversations from the moment Andrea died, right, and the candlelight movement was born, you should have been halfway through in terms of getting these things done, right? It's the same thing. It's only 2 days ago when Candice Barrett now, who's had to take to social media to say that a year has passed, we have another woman dead, right? But nothing has happened in terms of the 5 things the candlelight movement has asked for, far less pepper spray. And you have, what is his name, Faris Al-Rari saying, oh, well, the whole pepper spray process in the final stages. After a whole year? After a whole year, it's still in the final stages. It's still not done. So what does it take for you guys to take this seriously?
For one of his
women being murdered every day is not urgent enough?
For one of their own children to go friggin' missing. Because that's clearly the only way they will understand how everybody else's feel. They don't know what it is to get in a taxi with 3 other men and you're watching all of them and you think, oh my God.
And you're nervous. And you're paranoid.
And you're frightened. And then the driver stop to pick up somebody else and it just happened to be another male too.
Yeah.
They don't have a clue what that feels like. They don't have a clue walking somewhere and somebody walking behind you and you have to stop to turn around while you're holding your bag to see who is this walking behind you.
You ever got into a taxi limo and you're in the back seats and during the drive, you open the back seat, the back door, because you know you could get in, and but they could activate the child lock.
Yeah.
I just do that, right?
I
And
I
that's what I'm
only
telling you. This
with
is how
drivers
women just
that
be
I know.
thinking. Yeah, that's how women be thinking. I just open while the car driving, has be like maybe 5 minutes in, 10 minutes in. I always checking to see if the door is open and if I need to throw my carcass out of the car for whatever reason. I always thinking about that. Why we have to be living like that in this country?
Yeah. But they don't have that problem. And what I was also wondering, our police service have no kind of undercover thing where you put police officer women who are from different areas who fit the look of all the dead girls,
Yeah,
and put them in taxis, but you wire them
to
up,
see
you
what
have
would
the
happen. Yeah,
firearm, etc., and you're
yeah,
constantly monitoring them
yeah.
to see who it is, the taxi driver, the hours, etc. So no tactical kind of thinking, no first world thinking, let's get this son of a bitch.
Nope. I tell you, the first world ideas and executions is only come out when is somebody is a name on the line. So for Colm Embert's son's phone, they could have pulled out all the stops.
Elite
And for
squad.
that woman, Polony, this was when Gary Griffith was newly appointed um
Commissioner.
commissioner. I
Mm-hmm.
remember that. I remember her name so well. I remember her picture and everything. And I asked myself then, I was like, but so clearly you guys have the means, you have the wherewithal, you have the knowledge, you have the expertise. So why it is this does not happen for every other kidnapped businessman or missing woman or whatnot?
But that same woman, they found her dead, not so?
No, she they got her back. Pollination, they got her back.
Oh, okay. I look talking
Like
about her.
within 2 days or something, they got her back.
Right, and then it had another
And
one
they call it
that
excellent
same
police
time.
work. So I was like, so what do we have every other day of the year? Subpar police work, mediocre police work.
There was the other one that I forgot her name. I'm looking for the picture because I saved it. Because the daughter was getting problems from TSTT to get her information. And I was like, but what wrong with TSTT? Anita Mohammed. Her.
Yeah, yeah,
Remember? She was missing. And they pull out the stops for Conmenbert's son phone. And the daughter was upset because TSTT didn't want to release her mother's phone records and all kind of thing. And it's like, but what kind of jackass running TSTT that you wouldn't give up those things?
yeah.
This is where our
Again,
judicial system don't work for us because she was supposed to get
yeah,
a lawyer and sue TSTT.
yeah. But it always feels that there's somebody in a back pocket who you just have to put a price on them, and then everything goes out the window.
I don't know where we're going, but you see this foolishness, we're not going anywhere and anywhere fast. Because you see, it's racket everywhere,
It
right?
feels that way.
Defense force going and kill that issue with Azariah and whoever it is about Azariah, no. Call some neighbors or something, come and get him off the next man.
I have to look at that. Is that a Bible name? It's
Azariah.
always them fellas with a Bible name, eh?
Yeah, that's what I said. Anytime you name your child after something, it turn out to be flicking devil. And my
Oh
father
God.
is a retired primary school teacher, and I heard him say that. He said every time they name their child some Bible name, them child is be given trouble. Given trouble. And
Right.
it's true. Watch what Azariah doing. That's not Jesus work.
Yeah.
She could take the same Bible
Yep.
she get in him from and beat him with it.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, I would really like to understand what is happening in his psyche and why he felt he needed to do that, why he wanted to expose himself like that, and it took him a while to stop, even though I sure he was aware that he was being
But the
recorded.
child there and all, you didn't even care about the child. So
Nope.
that child going to need help too because he was seeing his father beating up the new boyfriend. And
Yeah.
what if the child have a good relationship with the new boyfriend?
Yeah.
Maybe
Yeah.
he and the child is going to play little cricket in the park or in the yard. He's teaching him how to ride the bike or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yes,
And when he is supposed to be protecting, he has now contributed to whatever cycle of trauma that child is going to go through it or endure. When he was supposed to protect him and shield him from it, right? And that's what you
that
have. We
little
have a
child
whole bunch
will
of
go in
bleeding
primary
people
school and do
bleeding on
the
others.
same thing. You're going to see that same type of behavior in primary school with that child. Anybody getting vexed and he wants something that you have, he'll beat your little tail for it.
It's very, very sad. It's very sad. And we really need to, I don't know, get a hold of the reins because we totally gone off track as a country. We're going off track as a society. And we can't depend on those um in office to do the right thing. We can't depend on them to do the right thing for any situation. There isn't any there isn't any one ministry that I could think of that works well. I got into a very heated argument with some people over what's his name? Gonzalez, the Minister of Public Utilities, Marvin Gonzalez. And I realized that people, they are not oblivious to the failings, the faults, the shortcomings. They know everything because in the discourse they talk about WASA, they talk about all kind of things, right? But they have a problem when you say that the person is incompetent. They don't want you to speak ill of the person at all. And I'm like, but who am I supposed to direct this to? He is the one who is appointed, right?
I saw
You
church
don't
person
care.
was arguing with somebody who
Yeah,
feel they morally,
right? And I was like, oh well, he's a hardworking minister. And I was like, but I'm not saying he's not hardworking. Hardworking is not good enough if it means at the end of the day that millions of dollars in materials still go missing from WASA and roads are not being fixed. And you understand what I'm saying? We were talking about this in terms of he responding to the 2,000 checks that went missing for pensioners, right?
how do you even get involved in that though? What, he's in charge of TT Post or something? TT
I
Post is
do.
a public utility?
Clearly, it is, yeah. Post office. So, and they got so mad at me saying that, well, he looks incompetent. And I was like, well, maybe that was a bit unfair because everybody came to his defense. Oh, he's talk so nice and he have so much charisma and he's
What has to
hardworking.
do with
And I
doing
was
it?
like, all of that means nothing. All of that means nothing if at the end of the day he is not in a position to stop the things that damages citizens. I said, we have pensioners who have lost money that they need to buy their groceries or whatnot. That is 2,000 checks that go missing. That is how much of a millions of dollars in taxpayers' money. And I was like, why do we so care about if he is a nice person, he have a nice personality and he charismatic, and if he not getting the job done?
I'm sure Carl Membert is um not okay, he's not a nice person, but I'm sure he's charismatic, he speaks well. Faris too, they all have this convent accent, like all of them went to Georgia
Yeah.
or whatever. So they speak well, they dress well, but look at the foolishness. What that have to do with anything, though? I don't
What it
understand
have to
these
do
people and
with
this superficial
anything?
bullshit.
Yeah. What it
Now,
have to do with
I
anything?
understand the point. We can't blame Marvin because he just get thrown into this whole thing. He's an outcome. He
Yeah.
wasn't there donkey years, like Coleman Bird and
Yeah.
Pete. He
Yeah.
now yeah. So okay, I could understand that. I cannot blame him for every single thing. But
Yeah, they
don't
say that he
shit
well speaking out against corruption, and I have
within
seen him.
his own government.
He has
Who
talked
yeah,
about it. Yeah, he has talked about it, but I was like, that is not going to do us anything if he is not imbued with the power to actually root out the corruption, because we have talked about this, right? Since he is there, we've had coming to the forefront. We have Wasa have over 400 managers, right? And all these people who are being paid overtime for no work and all kind of things. What has been done in that one issue, right? Are they
yeah.
looking now to get rid of some of these managers,
No, they
right?
want to get rid of the ground people, which don't make sense. You have to get rid of the unnecessary managers.
Wasa is overmanaged because you have 400 managers and a million potholes. So clearly it is not effective.
Yeah, because they have too many people in positions that don't know how to do anything. I can't imagine you need so many managers to manage
No, but
one.
again, it is who you know. It is who I there are so many people I know working Wasa who get in because their brother was a manager before and they get in and they stay and they work up and now they are a manager. That is what happens.
Yeah, WASA is a political tool now because that's the only way you get in through family or some kind of connection like that, right? Your qualifications mean nothing.
So you don't want me to go hard on Marvin Gonzalez. Okay, fine, right? But at the end of the day, he was put there. He was put there. He is being paid by our taxpayers' dollars to do a job. And I don't care how nice he is, how charismatic he is, that means nothing if ultimately he is ineffective in the position.
Yeah, but the thing is, who do you go to? He's the Minister of Public Utilities. So who am I supposed to blame if I can't get water? Who is we
Yeah,
supposed to blame if there are no electricity, like street lights in a report? He is
yeah,
Minister of Public Utilities. Tech is under his purview.
yeah,
He is supposed to be demanding from these companies, right? What is your 6 months goal? What is your
yeah,
whole year goal? Let me hear it. Tech is supposed to put up a list, right? We want to increase street lights in this area, that area, this area. We're looking at venturing into solar energy. We're looking into, wind technology. Some shit. That's what they're supposed to do. What's I supposed to say, right? This area never had water. We're looking at running pipes here, there, blah, 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 to do that. Not standpipe, not no shit tank or nothing like that.
yeah,
But we're looking to run pipe-borne water here. We're looking to
yes,
increase capacity at some other pump station, or we're looking to
yeah,
build more aquifers. Something. You're supposed to have a plan. It's the
yeah,
same.
something.
You're supposed to have a plan from Mr. Two Surnames concerning police. What is your plan? What is your
Yeah,
3 months, your 6 months, your year
yeah,
plan? What you doing
yeah,
for women? What you doing for animals? What you doing for this? How you plan to
yes.
incorporate the whole thing? Let's hear it.
Yeah, and Mr. Gonzalez supposed to be talking to Mr. Jacobs. How can I help you? Because I know you say you want to secure a repo. You want me to get on getting a tower there so that they'll have better signal receptions. You want me to get lights in the area. That is how it is. You just get the sense that they don't talk to each other.
No, we don't have any marrying of any of our ministries or services because he is supposed to be in constant talk with the Minister of National Security and Jacobs to find out, right, what we need for this area. We can't keep having these
Just can't keep happening, yeah.
over and over. So in the interim, while Tech sorting out their situation, while they're assessing how many poles they will need, how many cables they will take to run, the cost of it, etc., we could put up some street lights, some floodlights in the
Like
area,
in the interim, yeah.
interim, and some motion thing. We're going to
Yeah.
enlist our defense force to go in the
Yeah.
bush there and do some kind of military stakeout something and just something.
And it does not even have that. They just have to identify where do they enter the forest from. And it could be motion sensors or something that is triggered. You know, okay, a car is driving in that area or whatnot. And then you could deploy your defense force or whatnot. It does not have to be complicated. But
Yeah.
all I want to see is an effort. And what has got me upset is that they don't even try. And all you get is more talk. Faris talking about how pepper spray in final stages after a whole year. And everybody always talking.
And then what we need to know is, when you pass through that forest, does it lead to a river? Does it lead to the sea? So therefore, you'll get the Coast Guard now to come from that side to see what, how, if anybody's human traffic there. You're looking for, all kind of thing. You enlist your hunters because they're willing and ready. We're not even supposed to ask them for help. They're just supposed to be like, yeah, we're here. You're supposed to call and say, right, we're missing somebody. Get. Because they're
Yeah.
there and they're willing. If they're willing, well then use the people. And yeah, and the thing is that we have to reach to the point where, okay, our hunters want to get involved and help, fine, no problem. What it is, all you will need, so we can make it a very, compatible relationship.
Yeah. Symbiotic relationship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You get something from the government while we enlist your help.
Yeah. What do you need in for you guys to help us? What tools or
Yeah.
weapons or whatever?
All of that. And it's not difficult, but I just don't understand how it is don't come up in conversation or thought processes.
No,
These people.
no. But you have Gypsy on a platform telling you in detail it will have 6 people in a pod and it will have bigger ones that will hold 9 people. And I was like, but why we don't have this attention to detail when it comes to crime fighting? Because they could tell us the whole plan for a carnival that nobody wants, right? But you cannot tell us in what is the 6-month plan for reducing the amount of murders, especially women.
And the thing
You
is that
can't tell us that.
we could break it down even more for TTPS, because that particular area is Arima police station. So you could go now to each police station and ask them, right, so what's your plan for this area? Do you need help coming up with a aggressive plan, especially your area, because it is heavily forested? You have a lot of missing women. What it is you need? Is it that you need more foot patrols on the street in Arima itself, by the taxi stand where those women jumping in these taxis? Is it that we need more licensing officers to come in those areas to check these taxi drivers to make sure they think? Do we need now to ask taxi drivers to do a psychometric testing? Is it a legitimate taxi that doing this, or is it a PH? Why you need PH for this area? Or because nobody's going there? Because my husband went in there once and he told me it's a long drive through bush, forested area, and you don't have signal when you reach a certain point. And then when you reach the village, to the back is where you get signal or whatever the case is. So obviously there's a dead zone somewhere in the middle. So you need to put things in place. You need more lighting, heavy lighting in the area. People must feel, okay, I'm going to dump a body, but all these street lights, somebody must be watching me.
Exactly. And that's what we're saying. I'm like, all right, so we've had a woman just shot in broad daylight in her car, right? So what is the response to that? And what about putting cameras, right? And you get an eyewitnesses say, well, it was a white car, and you have your cameras on the lookout, looking for the number plate so that we could, respond to these things faster. I don't claim to say that I know everything or whatever. I feel most of the ideas running through my head is because I watch real Criminal Minds. But still, what has frustrated me is that nothing gets done. No new initiatives, no new ideas, and we cannot even say they are trying. We cannot even say that in sincerity.
And while you say you watch Criminal Minds, I have seen Law and Order Major Case, Law and Order SU, Law and Order Criminal Intent. I've seen The Closer. I watch, profiling serial killers. I watch all those kind of shows already, and it's like, I
Yeah.
want to do this, boy.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
have they have a whole department that does cold cases, and they go back since whatever year. The criminal dead, but they just want to solve the case still.
Yeah.
Are we doing that? Do we
Yeah.
have that?
Yeah.
But we could
Yeah.
call Barbados police to help with DSS. Really? So we couldn't get the FBI, Interpol, somebody to come and help us with our cold cases, because a case that happened last week would be considered a cold case for me, because you don't hear nothing about it after that. The two men that get killed the three people that get killed in South Park, the newest hotspot, right? What happened in there?
Hey, Lima, Besseau Street Police is investigating, right?
And arrest
Investigating.
is
That is
imminent.
a continuing verb, which means it is ongoing, right? So we have to sit tight while they investigate.
Fine, let's go to our actual real cold case then. Omar Samaru, Curtis Marshall, Defense Force, two
Ooh.
soldiers that they themselves killed. That is a cold case. What about all the missing women? All of those are cold cases, because you're not hearing anything. Edmund Dillon was supposed to be brought before some integrity commission, because he is the one that said he knows such and such women were trafficked and the asshole did nothing to bring them back.
Lima, I think you might need to start your own little private investigation agency.
I
You
always
had,
say
you had
that
a Nancy
a woman
Druitt
will
or
smell more dirt than any man, eh?
yeah, you had a Nancy Druitt or Hardy Boys it, because I think you are the only person who cares about the two people who died.
In defense force.
Unfortunately, because you just talk about it every day. And that's the point is you care about it, and those cases are not going to be opened or reopened because nobody else cares. They don't care. They don't care about the fact that these people would have left families, about the families needing closure. They don't care.
No, they
And I think the problem in Trinidad, we have people at the helm who don't care. They don't care about national security internally and externally. They don't care about healthcare. They don't care about infrastructure. They don't care about education. They don't care about financial regulation. They don't care about the price of food and food sustainability. They don't care about having a green environment and recycling. And they don't care about none of that, right? And it is evident when you walk around Trinidad. Trinidad is a country neglected.
Yeah.
Trinidad is a country abused, right?
Yeah.
It's like teachers who could tell when children are abused because they come to school dirty and raggedy and they're here in comb and they're withdrawn and whatnot. And
And
you
then
know
lash
something?
out.
That is what happens when you walk around Trinidad and say, we are a abused, neglected country.
Yeah. And the teacher run lash out from the time they show signs of aggression, and there's no need for you to be like that. It means something is going on at home and the child is reacting in school. That's not rocket science. You
It's
see
not
that on
rocket
every
science. Yeah.
episode of Special Victims Unit, Law and Order. And I watched the director's cut concerning that. They said all the cases that are happening that they choose for Law and Order are real circumstances. They just put their
Yeah.
their
The same thing for Criminal Minds. They say, because I used to be like, but who is this sicko who does come up with these ideas for
yeah,
these stories? And this is like, no, it's not sickos. They get their inspiration from actual
actual crime.
cases,
Yeah,
from
yeah,
actual things that have happened,
yeah,
right?
yeah.
So, right,
And I
and
understand
we
how
could get these
hard it would
solutions
be.
from them as well. We could get these solutions as well.
Yes, I understand it would be very hard for police officers to work in special victims, especially when you hear the heinous crimes that people do to little children. I understand that. But what we
Yeah.
doing really to stop it? We not doing a lot. The most we just do is bury it.
Mm-hmm.
And it stems from a social problem that we have. And our
Yeah.
social development minister, Donna Cox, rather say, all you greedy, don't do anything. It also stems with
Yeah.
mental health. So if you get Terrence to send out your mental health clinic, mobile clinics, people will have and you make it not no longer taboo to talk about, how you're feeling and what you're thinking. Because somebody home dealing with children, and let's say you're dealing with a child that may be autistic or differently abled, or a child that you have to give your entire full attention to 24/7, right? So you can't go out and work to go and then to get a babysitter is hard because you don't want any and everybody to come in your place. Not everybody can
Yeah.
handle a child like that as well, right? Then you have to homeschool the child because the child can't fit in regular school. The only schools that would be able to take children like that are too far from where you live because it's either San Fernando or Port of Spain. It have none in between. It have none in the rural areas. So
Yeah.
you're frustrated with that. Your husband probably lost his job, or the amount of work he has to do, how much jobs he have to do to make ends meet so you could buy things for your child, because that child might need pampers, they might need a little bit more financial assistance with. So you're frustrated and you home with this child and you could be crying your eyes out every single day because you're tired, you're frustrated, and it's not no fault of the child, but you just feeling mentally overwhelmed, psychologically overwhelmed. You have nobody to talk to because nobody understand what the hell you're really going through.
Yeah.
Right? You just want to mash up your plates. Your child come and ask you for one simple thing, 5 minutes, the other one come and ask you for something and you trip
Yeah.
off on it.
Yeah. Well,
That's
I
the kind
always say
of
it.
education we have.
Yeah, I always say it. We are not a society that places a lot of emphasis on mental health, because if we did, then people who are feeling like they are succumbing to the pressures of life, you would have an outlet. And two, we also, if you realize, we don't have any support groups, right? In bigger countries, there are support groups for everything. It could be, you could be a cancer patient, right? You have your support group that you get into and you guys help each other cope. If you are an alcoholic, there's Alcoholics Anonymous, there's the support groups for people who struggle with drug abuse and things like that. We don't have those things in Trinidad, right?
We
And
had
then we wonder
alcoholics.
why we so violent and whatnot. People have nowhere to turn to
Yeah.
get help when they
We
need help.
have
We have the rum shop.
Yeah, we have Alcoholics Anonymous, and I know we have the drug addiction one, but how effective they are, I don't know. And then we have this problem in Trinidad where if a man was to go those things, his ego would chip in and be like, "You don't need this. You could do this on your own because you're shame. You don't want people to know that you're a recovering alcoholic, and that kind of thing." And a lot of our men go through that. They don't want nobody to see them going there.
Yeah, but
They
the
don't want
marketing and the advertising around these programs have to treat with that. It has to be, you don't have to do it alone, and whatnot. But that's the whole point. The fact that there are a lot of people who are not aware that these support groups even exist
Yeah.
means that they're doing a piss poor job in even building awareness and letting people know that there are outlets.
Yeah, and that is part of the thing. So this is why I say mobile mental health thing. Or they could come up with bus for licensing instead of flicking making licensing online when they could have put the buses for mental health. How wrong side are we? What they
Yeah.
ask we need a mobile bus for licensing for when you could just do every flicking thing online? You put up substations or in the very rural areas so that people could do driving tests or whatever. So you don't have to go quite Carney, quite Sandy Grande, Sando, and Port of Spain. And then you could
Bet
do
you they bought
online.
Bet you they bought those two buses from Answer McCall. And that's the
I
whole
heard
point.
one of the buses break down already. So that is not brand new buses.
June Mohammed Vinig is saying more playgrounds and parks. When we're talking about coping mechanisms, when you look at first world countries, they have a lot of green spaces. They have a lot of recreational grounds, parks, dog parks. Even dogs have it nice, right? And that is true. There's nowhere for you to go and run and exercise and parks where you could literally just have a picnic. You put on your basket and your blanket and whatnot. That is so missing from our society, right?
Yeah.
And we just all we behaving is like barbarians, right? In a cave.
And then when you get a park, it's not maintained properly. The bush higher than you. You could lose your dog in it. You could lose your child in it. First, the bush high. The
Yeah,
swing rusty. You sit down on it and you could fall off and damage yourself. The
it
seesaw
is
break
true.
because somebody overweight child went and jump on it or rump on it
It is
and
true.
break it.
It
We
is
don't have
true.
care for our things either. And I've seen all of this in the Sinclair Park. I have to
It
tell
is
people,
true.
Sharon, hey, your mother didn't make that. Don't do that.
Yeah, but at the end of the day, we have to make these things more normal so that people don't behave like never see come see. And
Yeah.
also, you have to allocate for wear and tear. If you want children to be using it, whatever, then you have to say, well, every 6 months we have to be making sure that these things are up to standard and up to code and whatnot. But like I say, we are a country, we do not care about these things. If we cared about people's mental, physical, psychological, all types of health, this would be fully integrated into our societies, and you could go everywhere from Sandy Grande to Port of Spain and you could find green spaces, right?
Yeah.
Where you could be outside and you could take in fresh air and just be. We don't
Yeah.
have that.
And that's what I'm saying. And then the ones that we have, it run down. Look at Shagarama's boardwalk. You go there and it's
And
like,
that is relatively new, eh?
yeah.
That is relatively new.
You go there and it's like, what the hell is this? You're not even comfortable sitting down there.
Yeah.
The place looking dirty and grimy.
Yeah.
It
Compare that to the boardwalk
lifts.
down by Coney Island in Brooklyn that has been there for years, right? And it's still in tip-top shape. As I was saying, we just build things and we don't maintain it.
Yeah.
That is a good contract there. So none of your friends and financiers want a contract to maintain anything. We're not serious.
No. No.
We are not serious.
No, we are
Right?
not. We're not. And we don't take mental health for children. We don't take mental health for
For
teenagers. We don't
adults,
take mental
for
health
men,
for
for
men.
men,
Serious.
right? Because clearly something wrong with Azaria. Clearly, right? He has issues. He needs to talk about it. He needs to be on a sofa talking about it.
I think strapped down to the sofa.
Straight
Or,
jacket.
or he needs to join something like kickboxing class. So while you beating up this thing, you're talking it out.
Yeah.
That because some people may not be comfortable lying down on the couch, think they
Yeah.
need to be active. So while they're focusing on that, they could talk without thinking about, I'm actually talking about my issues here. I'm not
Yeah.
feeling shame talking about it.
Yeah.
So things like that, or you're going to a room and you pelt the ball and you're with the plastic bat and you're beating up the dummy or whatever. All of those are
Yeah.
outlets to get out the
Outlet.
rage, the anger, whatever the
Yeah.
case is. So
Yeah.
things
But
like that.
Lama, all these things would happen organically. If you provide people with the space, all of a sudden you would find it have kickboxing classes and whatnot right in a little area in Kunupia or whatever. You have to give people the foundation, the basics to work with. And then they would, I mean, in America, they're going mad right now. They have goat yoga. They have gone just beyond yoga. They have goat yoga, right? Little baby goats that's be on top of you, all kind of thing. And right? And as I was saying, so they just don't even know what to do anymore. So much to do, so much to do. And all we're asking is to give people a chance, create opportunities that people could go and learn to swim at the community centers, on the beaches, making sure to have lifeguards, make sure the beaches are well outfitted with facilities and restaurants and whatnot. Oh gosh, we could do so much better, right? Philip said he would not trust Mr. Rowley to run a parlor, right? But yet still he is our prime minister. And he is failing spectacularly, and you can see it, right?
Yeah.
There's nothing that he has done that you can say, oh, that was a good initiative. that was money well spent. It was
He's
well
another one.
executed, and it helps a lot of people.
He's another one that is consistently failing. Keith is a consistent failure. So, Trinidad and Tobago. I mean, I can't even say Tobago because they go in, they move in, they go in places. It's Trinidad. We stuck in the same cycle. It's like we really in Twilight Zone repeating the same shit every day. All we missing is the theme song. I need to get a theme song. I don't
Oh
understand.
gosh. Let me do
Right?
some shout outs. Good
Yeah.
morning to June Mohammed and Alan Jaimangal. Good morning to Deborah Ramsrup. Good morning to Kenshin. Good morning to Denise Xavier. Who else am missing?
Ronald, Adrian.
Good morning to Billy Pedro.
Billy.
Yes. Right?
Good morning, Fern. How are you?
Yes, indeed.
This Sunday is not this Sunday. This Monday is the local government by election. Where she go to cast their ballots. Remember to go out and support Lorenzo Sammy.
Yes.
And
come and join us tomorrow for the massive motorcade in DB. You can contact me or Lima to find out how to get there.
Just follow the green shed, get your palori and your sihina and your jalebi and thing, and you just head final.
Yeah, you can't miss it. The office will be right after the cemetery. On your right hand side, you will see the Pep flags and things like that.
That was a cemetery?
Yeah, have a cemetery on the right hand side.
I didn't notice that.
When we go tomorrow, you'll notice it.
Yes, I'm going to look for it. I'm waiting to see where it is. I swear to God, I didn't see that.
I'll show you. It's on the corner right before.
Okay.
All right. So, yeah, right. A lot of things wrong in Trinidad and Tobago and Trinidad, but these are not hopeless cases. They are not unfixable, and it doesn't have to stay like that. There are solutions to every problem, and our problem is misappropriation of funds and poor management and people who are not accountable. That is just it. We have been putting people who know that there are no consequences for bad spending our money and for non-performance.
There are no consequences as yet. Put Pep in charge now. All of them Bamsi going to be clapping and we'll be able to hear those claps.
Not only that, too, the thing about it is that we would be a government that people will expect so much from. Yeah. Nobody has any expectations of PNM or UNC, right? No. But people will expect us to deliver.
Yeah, because right now they're expecting candlelight movement to go and light candle all over the place. At this rate, the whole country should be lit with candles.
Oh yeah, they should be able to see it from Mars.
I didn't understand that.
What?
Anyway, guys.
Yes, we've come to the end of the program, guys. And yeah, they're having a vigil tonight. I forgot to mention that. Tonight they're having a vigil.
From 7 p.m.
family reached out to Philip. So they're going to have one this tonight.
14 to 17 Park Street. That is Victoria Square in Port of Spain from 7 p.m. I believe till 9. It's going to be for 2 hours. So if you would want to come and pay your respects and agree with the family and stand in solidarity with the families of women and girls who have been murdered, who have gone missing, this is your opportunity.
Yeah, don't just sit down and be a keyboard warrior and ball. You see, look, they do it. But what you do, come down. All of you who like to talk that stupidness, come down. So all the Rhoda Barretts and all those people who like to say all that foolishness, all come down and light a candle. Come. Let the light illuminate the darkness in your heart too.
Clearly, chase it away.
Yeah. Right? So you can come down to the vigil tonight. Tomorrow is the motorcade and the public meeting in Debe. Come out and support. If you want to donate, you want to do anything, reach out to any one of us. And remember, election is Monday. So tell your family, tell your friends who live Debe South to support Lorenzo Sammy.
Indeed.
Right?
Indeed.
And Alan, you said your birthday is Monday. So from now, happy birthday in advance. Good day. And be safe, right? So guys, until then, join us again Monday, right? Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.